What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. Today's guest is the owner and operator of Iconoclast Home Studios, which is where my band Cutthroat recorded our debut record, Palomar. He has also recorded several other local bands and artists, in addition to being a talented musician himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Jesse Vannoy.
Why don't you talk in the microphone? I gotta back up right here. Back up my 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 got it. Back up my back up my back up my back up my back up my
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man.
Life's a garden, dig it, you make
Thanks
it
for
work.
the invite.
Hell yeah.
Any excuse to come over and talk about cool stuff and drink beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, speaking of cool stuff, you just got back from Europe.
Yeah, and speaking of Cheers, that's very popular over there.
Oh yeah, big
Yeah.
time. So let's hear the whole story. You went all over the place, kind of, right?
We went to Amsterdam, Antwerp, Belgium. Amsterdam's in the Netherlands. Antwerp, Belgium, and then we went to London like the last couple days that we were there.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah. So it was like my uncle lives in Antwerp,
Oh, cool.
so that's kind of where we spent 5 days, like without having to pay for a hotel. So that
God, that's nice.
we just stayed in his flat that he has, and Antwerp, Belgium. I've been there twice, and I just love it there, man. Like it's so laid back and chill, and everything's just so old and historic there, and they really pride themselves on like being Belgians in general. They pride themselves on being like super efficient.
Hmm.
So like the recycling there is like on point. Like everything gets recycled or composted, and like the way that they conserve energy and like their water systems, and they kind of like half the museum that I went to in Antwerp was about Antwerp, like just about how efficient they are. And like it got weird to like one of them was like, we need to start being smaller in size. Humans need to shrink. That way we can conserve more energy.
They're thinking about it in that terms. Like they're
Yeah.
just gonna start genetically modifying
Yeah.
humans to be
It's like,
smaller. They're like,
alright.
we got this figured out. We just need smaller people. All these systems work for children.
It's wild. But yeah, I really like it. Like just the way they think over there.
Yeah.
It's really forward.
I know Belgium, like, I've heard a lot of cool stuff about Belgium.
Yeah. It's very tech heavy. A lot of tech companies over there and stuff. That's what my uncle did over there for a long time.
And Belgium's right by Germany, right?
Uh
Gosh, I'm kind of
oh
like,
man, now you're gonna make me do
yeah, man, geography's all
I'm just
messed
gonna,
up.
Yeah, plead the what is it?
Plead the
Plead
fifth.
on that one.
Now, so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure on this. Is Belgium? I know it's either Belgium or Germany or both. Aren't they notorious for having like wild nightclubs?
Yeah, there's clubs over there.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like pretty wild.
Amsterdam is wild.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine.
Amsterdam's like Las Vegas on crack. It's just
The whole country.
well, there's not like gambling there, but like there's mushrooms and there's weed and there's clubs and everyone's just there to party all the time.
Yeah.
The people that actually live in Amsterdam are like extremely wealthy because it costs so much to live in Amsterdam. Like it's ridiculous. Unless you like living in like a tiny 120 square foot little apartment, you know,
Yeah.
or a boat. Like even the boats there that are on the canal are
Mhm.
super expensive to get, man. But everyone that even works in Amsterdam comes in from different countries to work there, you know, and everyone just comes to Amsterdam to party. Like I've been there a couple times and it's just a party.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Prague's the big city there, right?
Prague is actually.
Oh no, that's in. My bad. That's
I've been to Prague too, but no, Prague's actually it's somewhere else.
Netherlands. God, I'm just showing how bad my European
Yeah.
history is.
Me too, dude.
Okay, so you started off in Belgium then, right?
We actually flew to Amsterdam and spent 3 days in Amsterdam
Okay.
before we went to Belgium.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Was it cheaper to fly there, or is that just how the trip was
It's
going to
only
shake
like
out?
an hour and a half train ride to Antwerp from Amsterdam.
Okay.
So that's like the biggest international airport close to Antwerp.
Okay.
So that's why we flew into Amsterdam.
Right on. And then how many days total?
So 3 days in Amsterdam, 5 days in Antwerp, and then 3 days in London.
And you flew out of London.
We actually came back to Antwerp, and then all the way back to Amsterdam to fly out.
Okay,
We
you
didn't
just
really
did the...
plan good enough to like. We thought about it at the end. We were like, we could have just flew out of here from London, but yeah, we actually reversed all the way back to Amsterdam.
So like what, 12 days then total?
It was 14.
14? That's
something like
perfect.
that, yeah.
Like when I went to Ireland, we were there for 8 days. Definitely not enough. I wish I would have spent at least 2 or 3 more days there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
got
two of
to
those days are basically traveling. The first day and the day you go there and the day you come back. We spent the day we went when we were buying tickets. It's like, well, this one's got a 3-hour layover on the way back. Oh, that's awesome. But it's got a 7-hour layover on the way there, and we're like, let's do it.
Yeah, you just gotta
Let's do it.
bite the bullet somewhere.
And at least it was on the way there. But we spent 7 hours, and in hindsight, we could have left and did something in Salt Lake City. But we spent 7 hours in Salt Lake City Airport on the way there, and then you get on the plane and you fly for 9.5 hours. Yeah.
Oh,
it
so
was
you
a
went
long
straight from
day.
Salt Lake to over there?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know they... I mean, that's pretty far, isn't it?
Yeah, it's far.
I didn't know Salt Lake had like international flights like that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's cool because it's only one stop. It's from here to Salt Lake and then all the way there.
Yeah, that is nice. And then from Salt Lake to here is just a piece of cake.
Mhm.
It's like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
But yeah, it's a long flight, and I've been getting motion sickness lately on them.
Really?
Yeah. it's
Oh,
been
that
rough.
sucks.
Yeah, I just take a ton of Dramamine and try to sleep now.
So I can't. I'm so bad about sleeping on planes, but I'm assuming it was one of those jumbo jets, like a
Oh yeah, it was
737
huge.
or something like that.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, and that was the first time I ever flew on one of those, and they are nice, especially when you got like the TV that you can watch. And
Yeah, I
kinda-
watched like 4 movies dude,
yeah,
on the way there. You just start binge watching them. Yeah.
yeah. I get motion sickness in like cars but only if I'm like focusing on something. So if I'm like trying to watch a video or read something on my phone,
Mhm.
and like my side view, I'm seeing like all the stuff fly by, and that's when I start getting like that motion sickness.
Same. Yep.
And that's why I can't sit on the window seat of a plane.
Yeah.
It is cool to look out.
They say the window seat helps, but I think I sat on the aisle seat on the way back, and I felt tons better.
I
in
prefer the aisle seat.
Yeah.
Plus, you just get
Then
like
you
if
could
you
get
were gonna
up.
get sick, you
Yeah.
could just easy access run.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the window thing's not true.
It's overplayed. I mean, it's cool the first time you're flying just to like watch, but
Yeah.
I get so terrified on takeoff and landing because I feel like that's when you're most likely to have a problem
Right.
that's like not correctable.
Yeah. Every now and then I get the plane anxiety about. There's always like the thing in the back of your head. It's like, man, it doesn't happen often, but
If it were
this
going
thing's
to.
flying fast and you're hauling.
Well, what airline did you fly?
Delta.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I don't know if because when we flew, we had American, and it shows you like your speed,
Oh, yeah, yep.
how far you like. It shows you all like the stats of where you are, your status in the sky,
Yeah.
and it's like 600 miles an hour. It's like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that's nuts.
Yeah, it's sketchy, but they hardly ever crash.
Yeah, I mean they say it's the safest way to fly,
Yeah.
and the bigger the plane, the safer it is. They say.
Yeah.
I mean, we flew out of a crazy storm in Chicago. Like, we were flying through the clouds, and the lightning hit, and it lit up the entire plane.
That's sketchy.
It was so sketchy. But I'm like, I guess if they wouldn't have flown out if they didn't think they could.
Right? They're pretty good, man.
My thought is always, I would just hope the pilot wants to live, because
Yeah.
if he's concerned about living or dying, like, we're all good.
Yeah, that's like the one plane that disappeared.
Oh,
Can't
yeah.
remember. There's a documentary on Netflix about it. But I guess the pilot just like wanted to, end his life, so he flew the plane out as far as he could into the ocean and then just disappeared.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, I think I heard about that too, because the co-pilot got locked out of the cabin.
Yeah, something crazy went down for sure because he turned off all the beacons and stuff. Like they couldn't figure out where he turned around at, and then they kind of triangulated from radar, like on the ground, where they had unmarked planes flying through, and kind of predicted the flight path.
God, that is sketchy as hell. To think about the fact that, like, yeah, you're really just putting your life
It's all
in
in that
some other
guy's
dude.
hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just gotta hope that he's mentally well.
Yeah. Most of them are.
So, what all did you do over in your, like, what were some of the sights you saw? What were some of, like, the coolest highlight moments?
I always liked, we took a tour through the canals in Amsterdam, and I always liked doing that. It's just so cool. Some of those boats haven't moved in like 90, 100 years, and they've just been sitting there forever.
Damn.
People are living on them and stuff, and you just see so much of the city by doing that too. And then we did a ton of walking the first day in Amsterdam, man. We walked like all the way through downtown. I think I clocked like 11 miles or something on my watch, and my legs were just
Oh man.
like, that's the one thing you realize when you go over there and you actually start walking and taking public transportation. Like, you don't know how lucky we are here to where we get in our car and we sit down and we drive to wherever we're going and we walk in. You know, we don't do any walking at all.
Right.
Like, when you're over there and you don't have a car and you're just visiting, like, you do a lot of walking.
Oh yeah. Well, and like, I don't know if I imagine it's pretty similar as far as just all of Europe, but streets are pretty narrow, and like you're always like, are all those countries drive on the left side?
No.
Okay.
No, Antwerp actually drives on the normal side of the road. It's London that drives on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, I know. I was blown away. I actually looked up how many countries drive on the right because I thought we were kind of just one of the few that did.
Yeah, yeah.
There's like almost 100 countries that drive on the right side of the road.
Yeah, it was weird going to London because you, like, when you looked both ways when you crossed the street, you had to realize that they were coming from the other side of the street, and you're just like not used to that at all.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we almost got ran over a few times because we were just, and it even says in big spray paint,
oh yeah,
look
they have,
to look
left.
left. Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm sure they've had plenty of tourists that have gotten smoked.
Yeah.
And then there's like a lot of bicyclists around. I know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people ride bikes.
Amsterdam is crazy to walk in because there's so many people on. Like, you have to worry about getting hit by bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're on the bike path, they get pissed.
Oh yeah.
Like, get off the fucking bike path.
Well, I know Italy too has a bunch of those mopeds and
Yeah, they ride mopeds on them too in Amsterdam. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably dude. When we had to take a ferry across from our hotel to get to like Central Station in Amsterdam, but in the morning we went and there were people commuting on their bikes mostly, but there were tiny cars too that they would drive up onto the ferry with all of us just walking and people on bikes. And they were just like in their tiny car on the ferry as we crossed. It was just hilarious.
what the hell?
It's like, wow, what a way to travel.
Yeah, but I guess it's normal for them.
I guess.
It just seems so hectic sometimes.
It is very hectic, but it's all organized somehow. They do a good job.
But yeah, you definitely get your steps in when you're doing that much walking and when there's a lot to see, and then half the way you don't notice it and you're all the way far from your hotel and you're like, God, I gotta walk all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and like you said too, the first day is obviously travel. The second day is basically just getting accustomed to the new time.
Oh yeah, that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it took us a minute to really get settled into that.
Yeah, I like going there. Well, actually, I like coming back because when we came back, we left at like 10 o'clock their time, and we get back like 6 o'clock our time. So
Yeah.
then you just go to sleep.
Mhm.
You're like, oh, it's almost nighttime. But when you go there, it's like we left here at 5 a.m. And when we got there, it was like 10 a.m. So then you just have another day to stay up, and you're just like on 2 days then.
Yeah.
And you're just totally jet lagged.
The way back was definitely easier to acclimate to.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting there, God.
It's rough. Well, and then you're like, technically, you're meeting the sun on the other side of the earth.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, just fall asleep and go to sleep for 8 hours and then wake up. But it's so hard to sleep on a plane.
Yep.
It's so rough.
Yeah, I've never been good at sleeping on car rides, anything
Yeah.
like that.
Some people are. Put on their sleep mask.
Oh yeah, they're out. I
They're probably
envy those
medicated
people.
though, or on something.
I took a couple of Benadryls just to like, because that's all I had. I was just like, let me pop these and let's see. Nah.
No.
I mean, I zonked out for maybe a couple hours here and there, but nah.
Yeah.
Not enough to make a difference. Because when we flew out, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And when we got there, it was like almost noon.
Mm.
And so I was like, God.
Good morning.
Yeah. What all did you do in London then? Because you said 3 days there, right?
Yep. The first thing we did, we went to St. Paul's Cathedral.
Nice.
Did you go there?
No.
No? Did you go to London?
No, we didn't go. We just stayed in Dublin, and then we went to Galway.
Okay. St. Paul's Cathedral is like a giant church, like the biggest one I've ever been in. Or cathedral, not a church. But yeah, we ended up climbing up the steps all the way up to the top of it, and you can get to like the very top of it, and you just have a sweet view of London. But oh my, when I got to the bottom, my legs were like,
Oh, wow.
there's that many steps. There's like warnings on the wall, and like you had to check into this girl before you walked up there, because she's like, I realize it's all steps and you have to walk a long way. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. I was like, we got this. And then I took my wife up with me, and she was dying, and I was dying at the end.
It was like, let's just stay up here.
It was worth it, though.
That's
It's a
cool.
sweet view. Walked all the way down from there, kind of crossed the river. Went to the London Eye, the big Ferris wheel.
Yep.
We did that. Walked to Big Ben, saw the big clock tower. Went to the royal stables where they have all the horses. Then from down there, you walk down this big main street, and you get to where the king or queen used to live and the king lives.
Yeah. Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace, that's what it's called. Yep. Did all that in one day, so that was a lot of walking.
Did all the tourist stuff.
Yeah.
Got all that. So, okay, here's a question. How's the food?
The food, like, always seemed to be great wherever we go.
Okay.
Like, I think we maybe had one bad experience, but everything's just, like, it seemed great. And then we went to this place for our anniversary, and it was just unreal. But yeah, we didn't really have any problems with the food.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because everything's so new and fresh to you that you're like, oh, this is good. But
Did you have a problem with like digesting any of the food? Because we did, and I was told like Europe has very strict standards on their processing of food. And like some of the stuff that goes into it, like where we have a lot of preservatives and things like that. And so coming from here to there, unless you're already on a pretty decent diet, it's hard to acclimate.
Interesting.
And you get kind of sick.
Didn't get sick.
Yeah,
huh?
we didn't get like nauseous, but we had like pretty violent diarrhea.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
For a good 2 days.
No, we didn't. And I ate crazy stuff while I was over there, too.
Really?
Like snails and sushi, all sorts of sushi and stuff, because my uncle loves sushi. Yeah. One of his flatmates that he lives with over there is a super good cook, so when we were in Antwerp, he cooked dinner for us every night.
Oh, that's cool.
And for lunches, me and Ashley just kind of went out to bars and cafes and stuff. Yeah.
What were some of your favorite bars?
Dude, the best bar that we ate at was called the Heart of Groenplatz, and it's in Antwerp. And the cocktails were just like covered in powdered sugar with like raspberries.
Oh,
and, like,
wow.
the mint leaf, and they were nice. It was a nice place. But yeah, my favorite food was definitely in London. It was called. My wife would kill me because I don't know the name of it.
I'm sure it's probably something tricky.
It was definitely something modern.
Oh,
It
okay,
was like
okay.
the one word kind of.
Sure.
But yeah, that food was great. I had a pork chop with like a roasted peach on it and like some creamy mashed potatoes. Oh, dude, like it was wild.
Just
That
bomb.
roasted peach tasted like candy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, no, we always ate good over in I want to travel more in Europe because that seems like the way to do it. Like check out a few places, spend a few days in a couple of different places.
Yeah.
We just had only 8 days, so I was like, let's spend all this time just chilling in Ireland, and
That's a good thing though.
because I thought about doing an Irish, Scotland, and UK, or well, just all the UK, I guess, London and
Yeah.
that area would have been pretty cool.
It's good to leave time to like relax though and kind of get into a routine.
Yeah,
So always running from, because I've done that too, where you're just like constantly going to the city every day.
well, and then having to pack up your bags and go to the next hotel and check in and do all that.
It gets a little exhausting.
But it's a good. I mean, if you're gonna spend the money to go there,
Mhm.
you might as well see as much as you can.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Sure.
I guess there's two schools of thought when it comes to all that, and I'm sure they're both equally. They pay off the same.
Absolutely.
And so you said you've been there before, though. You've been there a few times.
Yep, twice. Or yeah, this would be my third time.
Nice.
My uncle actually took me because he's lived over there for almost 20 years now. Took me right when I graduated in 2013 with my grandpa, and that was one of those vacations where we just went every day. But he took me all over the place to Germany and Poland, and I went to Auschwitz and saw all that stuff, and went to Austria and to Denmark, all sorts of places. And then in 2015, I went again with my dad. And yeah, this year to 2023, it's been almost 10 years since I've been there. So
Wow. So I'm sure that was like a nice little fresh, like this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Because 10 years, that's a long time.
It was a long time. Yeah, it's too long. I definitely want to go back as much as possible.
It's crazy how like condensed Europe is when you really think about it. Like, I'd be curious how many European countries you could fit just in the state of Montana.
Right.
Because
There's so much land here.
oh, I know. I mean, going from one side of Ireland to the next, it only took like maybe an hour and a half,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 2 hours. That's like from here to Bozeman.
Right.
That's nothing from our standards. So it's like I wonder if you just like the distance management, because you could see probably 6 countries in a day if you really wanted to.
For sure. Yeah, and then we took high-speed trains twice when we were over there. Those things are great.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, they're so smooth.
Yeah.
You don't get sick on those. And then you're going like 250 miles an hour.
The bullet trains.
Yeah. They're pretty sweet.
We need to get some of those here.
That's what I was thinking when I was driving to White Sulphur this weekend, just going through the endless hills and mountains. I'm just like, high-speed train would be sweet in Montana.
Hell yeah.
Probably make a fast one too, because it's so flat and open. Just you don't have to worry about going through cities and train stations.
Well, hell, just if there's a mountain, go right through it.
Yeah, you'd be hauling.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
Get to Missoula in like an hour and a half instead of 4.
What a dream. And not have to drive.
Yeah.
And it even works well in the winter. That'd be where it's at. Like the winter stuff. I can't stand driving in the winter,
Yeah.
especially through like the passes and things like
It's
that.
treacherous in Montana.
So, other than that, any other experiences from the trip that are notable?
Notable.
Any wild experiences? Anything like
Nothing really crazy happened. No, it was
Well, that's
pretty
good.
mellow. Yeah, it was pretty mellow.
that's good.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Nice. Well, hey, I'll tell you what. You earned a nice vacation because you've been a busy fella this like past summer.
I know, right? Yeah, it's been a hectic year. It was nice to take a little bit of a break.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, I feel like the winters are always the busiest for bands wanting to record music.
It makes sense because
Kind
that's
of stop touring.
well, and that's when the shows kind of slow down. Not a lot of people want to go out, and it
Mhm.
sucks hauling equipment in the snow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. We kind of that's what our original plan was to record in the winter,
Mm-hmm.
but then holidays and things like that got in the
Yeah.
way, and we were just like, you know what, let's do it. I thought March is that when we did it? Was like March or April?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought
Yep.
that was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty decent. Yeah, you had how many bands recorded with you that released records this year?
Stranded by Choice, you guys,
Mosquito.
Mosquito. Can't forget the Mosquito guys.
Oh yeah. Render Me Silent recorded a single with you, right?
Render Me Silent recorded a single with me. I'm still finishing up with the old ones.
Yeah, they've been going at it for a minute now.
Yep. We've been kind of scattered on the project, but we got some really good stuff. I'm super excited about the album.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of little clips. I'm pretty stoked too.
They're crazy. They're really good. I love working with them.
Did you do Pressure Not this year? Or was that last year?
Pressure Not was either early this year or last year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
And then and you've done a couple like solo artists too.
Solo artists, yeah. I've been working with recently Kaylin Beasley in the Honky Tonk Arcade. Kaylin's from Wyoming, and then the drummer's Levi from Stranded by Choice, and Kane, he's from Red Lodge. I can't remember the guitar player's name, but I think he's from Billings. That's been fun. He just put out a song late September,
Nice.
like a week or two ago. That's been fun. It's like a honky tonk country song. It's really
Something a little different.
Yeah, it's funny going from like the old ones to that.
Yeah.
It's like whoa.
Does it take a decent adjustment for you to like? Because I'm sure there's different recording styles and there's different ways that you have to like adjust things.
Yeah, I feel like recording country is all about just getting some good, clean sounds and just focusing on the quality. And then like recording with the old ones, it's all about how cool and weird can you get it.
Right.
Like you're not so much worried about the clean guitar sound because there is no clean guitar sound. It's just doom, like awesome distortion sounds.
Yeah.
So it's like you get to break the rules a little bit more in that kind of genre. But definitely I enjoy both. I can't say I'd pick either one.
Well, it's probably kind of nice to have variety. It
Absolutely
makes it less stagnant. You're
Yeah.
getting to do different stuff and
Yep.
keeps it fresh.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. And any current projects besides the old ones going on?
Juniper Black. I just worked on a song with them.
Nice.
It's just gotten done this past week. They approved it.
Cool.
So I'm excited about that one. Those guys are crazy too.
Yeah.
Aaron French is a beast.
I think we played a show with them, just one, but that was a good show.
Yeah. I'm working with David Fredrickson from Mosquito on kind of some solo stuff.
Nice.
That's been cool.
Cool.
Just like right now, it's all kind of just a bunch of little stuff, which is okay. But I'm definitely looking for the next band to kind of work through the winter with, on some songs.
Yeah.
Kind of get a big project going again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to take too long. You've got a pretty damn good reputation.
Yeah, no, I haven't really had to try to go out and find anyone yet. Which
That's
is nice.
that's got to be so nice when you're not like trying to beg people to come record when you have too much business, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Or when like the business is flowing and coming to you.
It's nice.
And if you're like, oh, I can't really do anything right now, I'm kind of scheduled, but we can book something later on. Like that's always nice.
And I've always wanted to, like, I've always had it in my mind, like, oh, I'll go out to some open mics or something and hand out my card and kind of like push a little bit, but I've never really had to. Like the next day I'll get a message on Facebook from like you or someone and they're like, hey, I want to record 6 songs. And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's what it's always been about for me, is just helping people out record music.
But you do have the option too, if for whatever reason there was a slow time or something like that,
Right.
You could always do that and go out and just
Yeah.
throw out your business and whatnot.
That's one of the things that I always talk about with everyone. There's so many ways to make money in music, and you just got to be creative. Like there's so many ways I could run the studio, and I've been busy enough this year to kind of reflect on how like I should run it, because I started it out as like open doors, I kind of just public. I took on everything that came, and I got to the point where I was like so swamped, and I'm only one person, and it's like it's hard to mix and then master a song and just be the only person that's listened to it and be confident about it. So I've definitely like bounced ideas off of people here, and I've sent, Zach Oswald some songs every now and then. I'm like, dude, check this for me, because I've been mixing this for 2 weeks and no one else has listened to it. Am I on the right track still? And then I'd get like multiple albums going, and I'm like, kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna finish them. And I got to the point where I was having conversations with Ashley about my wife. What do I want to do? Like, am I having fun still? Because all it's ever been for me is about having fun. I'm like, I'm mixing and I don't have enough time to mix because I'm still recording people. People are coming in and I'm recording and then I'm mixing and then it's just like, all right. I kind of slowed down and I kind of started to pick and choose. And I'm like, this is better because now I want to focus on projects that I'm into. And that's part of it for me. Like it can't necessarily be open doors because I want to work on projects that I like
Yeah.
and that I'm into is basically the bottom line. And now that I realize that, I'm gonna take it in a different direction. Like I want to work with bands down in the down in the studio and not have to worry about hourly and like, are we gonna do this in time? Like knock out this solo as fast as you can. Like no, I want to spend like days down in there like finding sounds and like what's cool and just making relationships with people and having fun and creating something that's decent, not just quantity over quality,
Sure.
And that's what I was pushing myself into, is just trying to knock them out as fast as I could. I'm like, nah, that's not fun. Like, let's work on them. And that's one of the best things, is going down there and not setting a time limit. Like, all right, I'm going to mix for an hour and then I'm going to be done. It's better to go down there and just like leave it open ended.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're going to be done. Just
Well,
work
and
on it until you're done.
you got to go over those road bumps. You got to like be able to, in order to find the groove that you're most comfortable with, you had to go down this path and
Yeah,
get busy and realize, maybe this isn't the way that's efficient for me,
for sure.
or whatever's comfortable. So, I mean, you found, obviously you figured out what you feel like is going to be
Yeah.
the most enjoyable way to do it for you now.
For sure. Yeah, I kind of just go back to my roots, like why I got into recording, why I got into music. And it's all about creating something cool and having fun for me, enjoying the time that I'm doing it.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go back to the roots a little bit. Where did it all start? Like, what made you want to get into the recording business, and did you go to school for it?
No. So it all started because of my dad.
Mm.
My dad was a lifelong musician, was always in local covered country bands and bands in general when I was growing up here in Billings. So the band was always over practicing and stuff. And he got me into guitar when I was probably 8, put me in guitar lessons. And I was an angsty teenager and young adult when I was going through my teenage years, and I just wrote songs all the time. Like I was really into poetry when I was young. Like even in like 5th grade and stuff, I thought poetry was cool. Like it's just cool to be able to put words together that are satisfying, right? And I wrote tons of songs when I was really young, going through middle school. And me and my cousin would get together and play them, and we'd have our band, And my dad bought me this. It was called like an MR8 digital multi-track. It was like a little miniature soundboard that had 2 inputs and like a bunch of effects and like even guitar amp simulations and stuff. And this was like, it'd be late 2000s, 2006, 2007 maybe. And me and my cousin would put mics up and I'd plug my guitar in and we'd capture the drums and the guitar and we'd take it up to the computer and it'd export it onto a little like, what are they called?
Like a USB?
No, just a little, like they go in cameras and stuff. I'm having a brain fart.
Oh, like a, yeah. Why am I'm also blanking.
Little memory card.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And we plug it into the computer and listen back to it. It was trash. And then probably when I really got into it was when I got a Line 6 pedal board back in the day for my guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And you could plug them in via USB to your computer and you could download a bunch of guitar sounds that people made and stuff. But they also came out with this program called Riffworks. And you download it onto your computer and it was basically a DAW. But you could only do a certain number of bars. Excuse me. But that's when I started like getting into recording guitar riffs a lot onto the computer. And that was probably like my first DAW experience. And I'd put together songs and stuff on that thing all the time. And then fast forward out of high school. Well, I got into Cubase before I graduated, actually. I think I got into Cubase probably 10th grade, 11th grade, because I was really into Photoshop and I enjoyed editing photos. I thought I was like probably a terrible photographer because I always was like, with Cubase or with Photoshop, I'm always like, what can I do next? Like, what can I mess with this time? And I always used like crazy tools and effects just to kind of mess with Photoshop. So I finally got a recording software called Cubase, which is I still use today. And man, I just started making songs out with my friends in high school, just like stupid raps. And then I graduated and I formed a band with Josh Walker and Stetson Riemann, both really good friends. And Josh is just a lyric machine. So between me and him, we were writing so many songs. And it was more of a, and my dad was the drummer, of course.
Nice.
We were writing so many songs that we just had to record them all the time. Like, we wanted to put these things on paper, and we did. We put them all on paper, and then we recorded all of them. And that's when I got, like, really into, like, the process. I started wanting to get to recordings better than the last ones, you know. I'm like, yeah, these sound okay, but how come it doesn't sound like this? And then I started researching and learning, and then from there it's just been a money pit. And no, it's been fun. I've just been collecting ever since. And my dad loved collecting music equipment as well, and we'd always go to the music store and debate on what guitar cabs we were going to get next.
I mean, yeah, you got a pretty impressive collection as of right now.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, my dad passed away, so his collection became my collection, and I already had a collection, and his collection was bigger than mine, so now that they're merged, it's a huge collection.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an addiction, but it's a good one, I feel like.
What was the name of your band?
We were called Overcoming the Odds.
Nice.
Yep.
And then you've been in other bands too, right?
I've been in a Blink-182 tribute band.
Okay.
Which was the funnest time of my life, because I don't know if you know, but I'm a huge Blink-182 fan.
I think I just saw a post that you shared today. Yeah.
Yeah. Blink-182 and Green Day was like my love child.
That's your jam.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
yeah, that's gotta be a blast to be in something like that.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was awesome. That was like the best karaoke party of my life, and I got to play guitar in it and just sing all of Mark's songs.
Is that
incredible?
Is that kind of still something that is
brewing?
Yeah.
No, it hasn't been talked about in a long time.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd love to do it again though.
I'll never say never, you know.
Nope, I'm never gonna say never. But yeah, right now I'm in a band called Low Lifes and High Notes, and we're a cover band.
Okay.
And we kind of do pop punk, early emo 2000s stuff.
I didn't know you were in that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of that. I just didn't know you were in them.
Yep.
Nice.
That's been going on for about a year now, a little over a year. That's been keeping me busy alongside of everything else, too.
Yeah, I can only imagine. God.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about doing this and music. We only practice once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a busy year, obviously, with the CD coming out and stuff, but I mean, that still drives me nuts. Yeah. So I can only imagine how busy you are with recording and then also having to do practices for a band.
Yeah. Well, definitely,
while being married.
It put a strain on my relationship for sure. Like,
oh, did it?
There was nights where I was coming home from work and I was just cruising straight down to the basement because I had to mix songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I gotta go mix like these songs. Sorry, Ashley. And I'd go down there and mix until 8 or 9 o'clock, you know, and then I'd come upstairs and it's dark and it's time to go to bed. And I'd do that like several days a week, you know, and then band practice one day, and then I'm recording with another band that weekend or something, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, it's fun. I can't complain.
Well, and I can imagine how that could be strenuous.
It's strenuous.
But I mean, like I said, those trials,
Yep. Well,
and obviously she's stuck around. So like, I mean, she's she's along for the ride.
yeah, she is. She knew what she was getting into.
and you take her to Belgium and stuff. So
Yeah. No, it's good to be busy because then it's fun to make as much stuff as you can because you only got so much time.
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That was honestly one of my biggest motivations to wanting to record music. And in some ways, I felt like I didn't feel like we rushed as far as like the recording process or anything like that. But it was definitely a goal of mine to get that out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And it was merely because, I just turned 30 this year. I've been in and out of bands my whole life. Never had anything recorded. And it's just that next step that I never reached.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of legacy in a way. It's like, now if I die tomorrow, I have something that was of my artistic side that got left behind, you know?
Yeah, it's good to get it out there, especially in these days and age. We have the technology, so it's good to get it down and get it out there to people. You
Well,
never know.
now it's so easy. You can just do everything yourself, like the distribution side of it. And kind of a pain in the ass, but
Yeah. No, you look back on it and you're like, dang, I wish I had a recording of that song we used to play.
Exactly.
Because you never know, you might want to bring one back one day or something like that. Re-envision it, and I don't know. It's cool. It's definitely cool to have it down and digitally forever. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Unless something goes down where we lose electricity.
Oh, we'll see. And somebody said, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and a couple comedians, and they're talking about how, isn't it crazy that all of our material over the last like 5-10 years is on streaming services. It's all recorded. None of it's physical. There's not like physical media. Like now we do, like I made sure to get some physical media because of this exact reason.
Yeah.
It's like all it takes is them being like, no more. Like, no, you're not on here anymore. They could just erase it all.
It's all on their server. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. So I was like, that's why I made it a point. Like, that's not specifically why I made it a point to get physical CDs, but I still personally am a physical media guy.
Yeah.
And I think here in Montana, we're a little bit behind when it comes to like trends or whatever, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think people here still like physical media.
Oh yeah.
More than other places.
Yeah.
Because you go other places and they're like, well, what's your Spotify? Well, what's your, what's your YouTube link?
True. Yeah. When I went over there into Europe, I didn't even use my credit card or my debit card once.
Just a tap pay. Yeah.
You pull out their card and they're like,
that's how it was for us too. I was like, I don't have the tap. I didn't have the tap thing. So it's like, it's all right. Like, we don't really use this that often, but.
No, it was weird. And then I get back here and just debit card out again.
Yeah, it's interesting how as being part of the United States, I think it's a Montana thing more than I'm sure if you went to like New York or a bigger city somewhere, it'd probably be a little bit more caught up to the rest of the world. But it's just funny to think like we're supposed to be like the leaders of the world. We're supposed to be ahead of everything, and yet we're still like we're watching DVDs and throwing the CD in the record player, in the car. But like we sold almost half of our stock that we already got.
Really?
I mean, we'd just be out at bars and we'd have them on us, and people are like, dude, I'll take one of those.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just like the fact that people are still willing to buy physical media is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
At least for now. We'll see how long it takes for that to catch up too.
I mean, you get something physical. You can hold it in your hand.
I love that. That's why
work on it.
That's why that whole NFT and crypto shit, I never got into it. Like I never bought it.
We saw some the NFTs in some of the museums that we went to. They
really?
Just had screens, and then the NFT would play on them.
Huh.
It was like, really?
I mean, I guess
it's an animation.
Kind of physical in a way.
Art.
It's visual.
I guess it's art. Like someone took the time to animate it or make it,
Yeah.
But I just don't get why they were selling for so much, or why they sell for so much.
Yeah, I never understood. I still don't understand it.
It's kind of wild.
I mean, obviously, I'm a physical media guy. I like having.
Yeah.
It's just always, like you said, it's nice, especially with music. Like to see the artwork, to read the lyrics, and to see all the just the extra stuff.
And hopefully that's just not our nostalgia.
It could
maybe
be.
the next generation won't care about that at all.
And I'm sure they probably don't. And it's definitely a nostalgia thing for me because I loved going to. I mean, I was one of those kids that would wait outside the store for it to open up so I could go in and get the newest CD.
I loved going to Hastings and just like walking aimlessly in like the rock section and just picking one because of the artwork. Like, oh, that looks cool. Never heard of these guys before, but I love the artwork, so I just like that's how I discovered so many bands when I
Really?
was younger. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't exactly have the means to be able to just like, I want this, but I do remember going to Hastings and just like looking at everything and being like, oh, that's a cool one, or or Borders is a place I would go.
Yep.
And because they had the
Borders is
listening
cool.
booths,
Yeah, you can listen. To
I'd scan it, and some of the CDs you'd get the full song, so I would just sit and listen to songs all day.
Nice. Yeah, I miss those stores, dude.
I know. It's Hastings, man. Everyone talks about how much they miss Blockbuster. I miss Hastings.
Yeah.
Especially like how Hastings became because they also had like comic books and things like that.
The movie thing's convenient. I really don't miss Blockbuster, like having to go get a movie. It's pretty convenient being able to just watch them from your TV.
I agree. I mean, like you see, I have a lot of movies, but I haven't bought a movie in a long time.
I still think it makes sense to go somewhere to buy music, though. That just makes sense to me. Like a place that sells music.
I think that has to come from a place for us in the fact that like we know it's a more supportive system to the artist.
Yeah.
Where like, although I don't know if that's true necessarily anymore, because the record companies are like, it's one of the most like heinous businesses ever created as far as like the old school model.
I guess because when you sell CDs, not only does the artists have to make money, but you got to pay everyone making the CD, and then the person that owns the store that's selling the CD has to make money off of you too because they're selling your CD.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, doesn't seem very profitable.
But as like if you're gonna do it as like an independent, then that's kind of, it makes more
Yeah.
Now we're in a time where you can just be independent. You don't really need to be slave to a record label. You can kind of just promote yourself. It's harder, but
it is, but
it's possible.
Yeah, I think independent artists and just doing it yourself is the way to go. I've never thought highly of record labels at all.
Yeah. And it made sense back in the day where it's like we can give you a platform.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like we have access to, we could put stuff on YouTube. We can put stuff on Spotify ourselves.
Exactly. You don't need them anymore because you have so many access to social media and all this advertisement right at your fingertips.
Yeah. I mean, it costs you money, but it would cost you money anyway.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I've always heard the best way to do it still is to go out and play shows.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean,
it's still the best way to do it.
It really is because
you connect with people live in a different
exactly.
way.
And the amount of bands that I became fans of from they were opening for other bands I was going to see and I didn't know who they were. I'm just like, dude, these guys rule. Like they sound awesome, or like just even their stage performance.
Yeah.
And then getting to go to hang out with the bands because they're the startup, so that they're just like at the merch booth trying to sell CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
Go hang out and talk to them, and it's like those are the best bands.
Yeah. You connect with people. Like you connect with the energy in the room and just like, I don't know, it's different. It's better than like, hey, check these guys out, and you listen to it on their iPhone for 30 seconds and you're like, yeah. It's like, no, you're going to go check them out. You're going to go listen to their set.
Well, and when you have that like almost emotional experience of being there and like experiencing it, it's an experience. Yeah. And then it translates into the want to support.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So when did you make the decision then that you were going to do the recording as like a business?
So I kind of just felt, in when I was playing in the band with those guys, kind of just felt stagnant by recording our music all the time and just bored almost. And I wanted to record someone who was better, basically. I wanted to just like create cooler stuff, and I wasn't quite, we weren't quite capable of doing it. I mean, I'm sure if we would have worked, we would have done great things. But I wanted to just like record other people. I was like, I want to take these skills that I've learned in this band recording us. I want to record some cool shit. And that's when I kind of like started telling my dad, like, hey, maybe we should use all this stuff that we've acquired now to record our band, and maybe we should invite some other people over because there's some really good musicians in Billings. Like, I just loved going to local shows and being like, dang, like these guys are good. And then In Rapture was like one of my favorite bands back in the day. And I was like listening to their stuff they were putting out, and I'm like, these albums are killer.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make something like this. I want to make stuff like that just blows people away. And I just was like, I'm going to reach out and just kind of reach out to people and that I know. And that's when I hooked up with the guys from Tribe. And that was kind of like my first metal album that I did. And then I hooked up with 100 Proof back in the day. And that was like my first country album that I did. And yeah, from there, once those two albums released, everyone kind of knew what I was doing. And then I was lucky enough to have Stranded by Choice hit me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And those guys are so knowledgeable, and they recorded, they'd still, like this last album that I did, they record all of it at Rich's house. And then they send it to me, and the recordings that I get from them are already like great. So it was a super fun process on both those albums to just put it all together. Like, I'd get the stems and I'd have no idea what the song was like, and we record the drums like months and months ahead with Levi, and like Rich would play the bass with them, and so I'd hear the bass line and I'd hear the drums, kind of like how we recorded your guys' album. And that's one of the funnest processes for me, is to like not know what the song sounds like
And just
until
see
the
it
very
develop.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. So like, we did the drums for Stranded. They'd send me tracks, and I'd just take my drum tracks and I'd upload all of Rich's tracks, and I'd just see the song come to life, and I'd understand the structure. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. And yeah, just like the way we recorded, that's basically how we do it every time. Get the drums down, and go in and start multi-tracking guitars and bass and stuff like that. And it's just so cool, because like, I don't know what it's gonna sound like, and then at the end, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's fun to, it's kind of like writing a song, you know?
Mhm.
It's the same kind of. All right. Sorry,
We're
folks. We had some technical difficulties there for a hot second. But we were kind of just talking about building the relationship with
Oh yeah,
people you're recording with.
yeah. Like, instead of like, you watch the song get built in front of your eyes, but you also kind of watch a friendship or a relationship get built with the artist while you're down there, because you have to like work together, and you just met this guy, and we have to do guitar solos together and stuff, and learn, and kind of just learn how to communicate with people. And that's a big part of it. That's fun for me too.
Yeah.
It's like making friends.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where I'd be if I wasn't a musician.
Well, and you also, I'm sure once you have worked with somebody once, you kind of build, you learn their tendencies.
Yeah, like the second time is way better. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and then you have that comfort level where
Yeah.
everybody's comfortable with each other. Everybody's.
Yeah, it's not a weird, like, a lot of times when people show up to my house, they just see a house, and they're like, oh, and they walk in, and I kind of lead them downstairs, and once they get downstairs, they're like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, I remember, well, because I came and checked everything out the first time by myself.
Yep.
And I was like, Jesus, I mean, like you said, it's a normal
Yeah.
home, family home.
Yeah, it can be weird.
Then you go downstairs and you're just like, what the fuck?
It can be weird.
And I told all the guys too, I was like, you're gonna shit yourself when you see this setup. And all of them were just like blown away.
But it definitely takes time for people to settle in and for them to get comfortable with you and being an engineer and being even somewhat of a producer. I don't call myself a producer, but I think of myself more of an engineer.
Okay.
I don't try to, and that's another, back to the conversation about how you want to lead the studio business and what you want to do in the business to make money. And you can be a producer, you can be a sound engineer. You know, you could do audio for movies, and you could do sounds, and what's it called, Foley.
Oh yeah.
Like, I could do that stuff, but what I like to do is go down, like, even over a weekend with a couple dudes and just bust out, dudes and girls.
Yeah.
And just bust out some good songs, dude. Fill the studio up with scenarios and instruments and just see what you can make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and then you said it's kind of been like a little bit of a learning process too, huh? As it's gone, you said you're self-taught kind of in a way, right?
Totally. Yep. Totally self-taught. So everything, I mean, I went through master classes on the internet and watched videos and stuff like that, and Slate Academies, but most of my experience is just from years and years of EQing things, being like, oh, that sounds like shit. Let's try to fix it. And then
just
going
like
back and fixing it. And
learning by doing.
Yeah, learning by doing. Like, it's so funny. I've got probably like my dream monitors now because I took out a Sweetwater loan and I went for it. And they're always like, once you get these monitors, you won't have to go do the car test. You won't have to go out to your car and listen to your mix and
okay.
check it, you know?
But you still do.
Oh, yeah. All the time. Yep. And then the other day I saw a video of the Foo Fighters and the mixing engineer for the Foo Fighters go out to their cars and listen to the Foo Fighters mixes in their cars. And I'm like, I don't feel so bad anymore. Everyone does.
I mean, I remember when you sent me the tracks first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listened to it on my headphones, and then the next thing I did, I was listening to it in my car,
Yeah.
and then I listened to it like on my speaker systems, you know, just like trying to listen to it on every single thing.
Yep.
Because you do kind of hear certain things a little differently.
Yep. I have a little JBL speaker that I play my mixes through all the time, and I listen to them on my headphones. And I also have these expensive headphones that emulate rooms and monitors that I use. And yeah, it's a combination of doing all of that to finally be like, all right. Because you definitely hear other things on different speakers, and different frequencies pop and others go away.
Yeah.
And you just gotta find those frequencies, man. It's fun.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, honestly, to hear. I mean, it was cool to sit in and see the songs getting kind of built,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't there, you know? I mean, you're just getting like the raw recording.
Mm-hmm.
And then even like doing the vocal recordings and stuff like that, it was an interesting process too, just because like we took so many takes, and it's like doing the backup stuff, and I love how all that shit turned out, by the way.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to get the first draft of the mix, because I literally was sitting here right here listening to it. I can't remember what was going on. I think that we were having a barbecue or something like that. Like I had my mom and family were coming over, and I'm just sitting here. The second you sent it to me, I just like sat down and threw on my headphones, and I'm listening to, I don't even remember what song it was, but I was just like smiling ear to ear, because it was like, dude, this is like what we've been playing this song for 2 years now, 3 years almost at that point, and it's like you're hearing it in a whole different way. It's, and as of, you know, when I'm singing, I'm listening for specific things.
Right.
I'm listening for like certain cues, and I'm listening for like, or I'm following just the drums on this part, or I'm following the bass on this part.
Yeah.
At least that's how my brain processes it.
Same.
And then to hear it all without having to think about what I'm doing next,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I actually get to hear. I mean, when we were recording, there were so many times somebody, Justin or Aaron, would be playing something, and I'm like, that's what you play at that part?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
heard
that's-
that from a lot of people all the time.
Right,
I
because
don't
you're.
have time to like notice what you're playing over there, you know?
Yeah, I'm too busy worrying about what I have to say next, and like
Yeah.
trying to remember the lyrics and be on time and be in key and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So that was a really cool process to like actually hear the dissected versions of the song, and then also just hear that final product for the first time. Because then my mom walked through the door, and she just sees me smiling, and I looked over at her, and she goes, "Did you get the recordings back?" I was like, "Yep." She goes, "Let me hear it." I was like, "No, these are on lockdown. Like, we still got a while before these actually come out."
Yeah, I think I remember getting a message from you.
Oh yeah.
You're like, hey, don't send these to anyone else but me.
Oh yeah, because well, the big thing is it was mostly, and I have no shame in saying this. My cousin Aaron, I knew he would be the guy that's like, "Hey, check these out." At the bar, he'd be
Just
drunk.
post them on their Facebook.
Yeah, he'd just be drunk at the bar, like, "Hey, what do you think of these?" And I'm like, "Dude, no, like this is supposed to be on full lockdown. Like
Yeah.
maybe next time I'll be a little more lenient."
Yeah.
This was our first time, it's like we had to.
It was sacred.
Yeah, it had to be
We
special.
wanted to release it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely.
Yeah, no, I remember sending you that message. That's funny. I made sure everybody else heard it and was able to have their input.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't want to be the only. I wasn't going to be the only one like making the final judgment on it.
No.
But I just didn't want it to go to like a group message or something like that where like everybody had access.
Check out this link.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
No, it was super smooth, super easy. We had a great time. Everybody talked highly about it and
yeah, man. Thanks.
reflects upon it fondly.
Yeah.
So if there's any artists out there looking for a place to record some music,
Hit me up. Instagram or Facebook message me is probably the best way. Iconoclast Home Studios.
hell yeah, man. Let's get that business rolling, huh?
Let's get it.
Let's get more.
Let's get busy again. You know?
Yeah, build it up some more. All right. Well, other than music, man, like anything else crazy going on in life, or anything else like exciting that you're into?
Me and my wife have been talking about a food truck.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice.
We've been doing numbers, or she's been doing numbers all day today. It's scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just like a new
Just-
revelation.
Yeah, just something we want to do. I don't know. She's really looking for something. She wants to be her own boss too. So
Yeah.
do I. If I could do studio stuff all day, quit my day job, I would.
That
But-
is kind of a scary leap, though. Sometimes.
Oh, totally. It's a huge investment, and you always got to worry about what you want to do 10 years from now.
Yeah,
Do I want to still do a food truck 10 years from now? I don't know.
but the
But-
thing is, if you make it a profitable business,
Yeah.
you could sell the you could sell the name, you could sell the truck, you could sell all like the
Mhm.
recipes and whatnot. What would you think doing a whole original thing?
I don't know if I want to give out too much
Okay.
information.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's a new. I get it.
It's it's not original idea, but it's nothing that's around here.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll
Okay.
leave it at that. Tell me off camera.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's cool though. I mean that's a cool like. I actually have a friend that she just started her own food truck.
No shit.
I think she does like cake designs
Nice.
or it's like pastries,
Cool.
and she's in Bozeman, but
Okay.
that's what she's been up to, and because her family owns a I'm Craving Barbecue here
Oh.
in town.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Those guys are pretty successful.
yeah, and so she took their model of business and made her own thing, and
Nice. Yeah, it's something that I want to do too. Like, I love my job. I'm a sheet metal worker, obviously, but I don't know. There's something exciting about starting something new,
yeah,
just changing it up. But we'll see.
something in the works there.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah, my uncle John. We talked about it when we were over in Europe. He wants us to move over there and start one up over there.
That'd be wild.
That'd be wild. Ashley was all over that idea. She
Yeah?
was looking at houses on the real estate websites and stuff, and I'm like, oh no, now we're moving to Europe. I just established a studio down in the basement.
Hey, maybe get some Belgian metal over there.
Yeah, for sure.
What is it prominently English speaking over there?
In
Belgium?
yeah, in Belgium they speak mostly English. It's Dutch, but everyone there speaks English.
Gotcha.
Like when I try to say something Dutch to someone, they just speak English.
Do you
back
speak
to me
Dutch?
right away? No,
Oh,
just a little bit that I know. Donkey
Gotcha.
well, which is thank you, and
they're like, you're welcome.
little other, little other stuff like that. Yeah, anytime I said donkey well, they're like, you're welcome. I'm like, okay.
Like, all right. Oh, you want to hear? Just because this kind of reminded me of this. One of the most cringeworthy experiences I've ever had in my life. I used to serve at Olive Garden,
Okay.
and this Hispanic family comes in, and I'm serving with a guy who's been there for however long, longer than I had been. And when it's a big table, you have to do 2 servers on the table, or that
Mhm.
was their rule. So we both go up and we're bringing their salad to them and stuff. And he goes, queso? Queso? And they're like, yes, I'll have some cheese. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And he kept like doing like these little, like he'd say like really horribly like, Spanish speaking, like broken Spanish, like he was barely speaking Spanish himself. I'm like, they speak English, like you don't have to do that. And they're like, oh, he's like, oh no, but it's just you're connecting with the table. I'm like, no.
Really?
I'm just like, bro, I was like, I can't even show my face over at that table anymore.
That's weird.
It was wild. But just like the idea of going somewhere, trying to speak the language, and then being like, yeah, I know what you're. I speak your language.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, they kind of appreciate it.
Oh,
over
sure,
there.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
especially if you're going over there.
Yeah, they're kind of like, okay, thanks, but I'll speak English to you.
Is it okay? So, is it the same over there as it is? I'm just curious how all of Europe is maybe different from each other or not. Can they figure out that you're American pretty quick?
It depends. My wife, Ashley, everyone spoke to her in Dutch right away.
Okay.
And then everyone speaks to me in English right away. So I guess it's just kind of how you look and dress, I think.
You know, so we were told the reason everybody knew we were American is because we wore ball caps.
Yeah, the hat, that gives it away too.
Yeah.
No one wears hats over there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was an interesting like revelation to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
If you're wearing a hat, it's like a dress hat. It'd be like
Right.
some kind of a dress hat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Just a lot of slick back hair over there, kind of hairstyles, and not a lot of dresses. That's one thing Ashley noticed as a girl. Like,
Oh, really?
all the girls are wearing dresses and stuff, and she was wearing jeans and t-shirts most of the time, and she's like, I don't fit in.
Yeah.
But we bought her some dresses while we were over there. Don't worry.
Nice.
She fit in. They were speaking Dutch to her all the time. It was hilarious.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, we did get asked for directions one time in Ireland, and we're like, oh, we're not from here. Like, oh, sorry. So that was like our only like real compliment that we were like, okay, at least we kind of look a little Irish.
Mhm. You guys got a show coming up on Friday, huh?
Yeah, well, when this comes out, it'll have already
Oh,
happened.
done. Friday the 13th at Thirsty Street.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I should come down and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be our last show this year.
Thinking so?
Yeah, I think holidays coming up, and we'll just take a break. We'll start writing still.
Mhm.
Like, we'll still be practicing and just writing some new material,
Heck yeah.
and probably just play sometime early next year. I think it'd be just nice to have some time to make some new material and not worry about shows at the moment. And like we already talked about, winter time's kind of one of those slower
Mhm.
times for
Yep.
shows. And
No one likes gigging in the snow.
nah, moving equipment and trying to get people to come out although at the beginning of this year, February, I think about that time, February, March,
Mhm.
that's when people are starting getting stir crazy. They want to start going out and doing stuff.
For sure.
Holidays are over, and even though it's still snowy out. Because
Yeah.
we had a pretty good turnout at our show in February this
Yeah.
year. So I think probably about that time.
People in Montana are tough. They'll go out for something they think it's worth.
Yeah, that's true. But as of right now, unless something crazy comes up, unless we get offered something that we just can't refuse,
Yeah.
this will probably be our last show for the year. So
Cool.
I'm sure it'll go good. Like I said, this will come out on Monday, so
Okay.
show will already have been done by then.
Well, Low Lives and High Notes are playing at Craft Local October 28th. Halloween show with Spiked Mind and Do Fish Make Noise.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Should be a good one.
I think I might be able to come to that. I don't think
Sweet.
there's anything else going on, or I don't think I have anything going on that night. It's Halloween night?
It's Saturday the 28th.
Oh, the 28th. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So go check that out, anybody. If y'all have free night, go check that out. Some good music. I think they're having a Halloween costume contest and stuff like that.
Correct. Yep.
Ooh,
fun.
I might come over and dress in costume. All right.
Oh, one last thing. I know you're a Broncos fan. Do you know I'm a Broncos fan?
Yeah, okay. I think we might have talked about this, actually.
What do you think of our team this year? Wait, did I see a Russell Wilson jersey on you a couple podcasts ago too?
I did have one on.
Do you
Yeah,
have one?
I do. I was the hopeful. I was hopeful. And I still am. You know what? I'm still hopeful. I'm always the optimist.
The first few games weren't that bad. We just lost by a couple points, but the Miami one,
Oh god, that was horrible.
that was a bummer, man.
That it really was. And my brother's a Dolphins fan too, so I
Oh,
haven't
that
heard the
one
end of that.
stung. Mm.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, I'm ever the optimist, but the defense is the
It's
problem.
bad.
That's our
It's
problem right
Vance
now.
Joseph,
Yeah.
to be honest.
For sure.
But tomorrow we play the Chiefs, so that should be
Horrible. Yeah. I'll grab one for you too. Thanks. Yeah, no, the Chiefs, that's probably gonna be pretty bad, I can imagine. Obviously I hoped we win because we've lost to them I think 15 times in a row now. And
something like that. Is it a road game or?
I think it's in Kansas City. Yeah. Travis Kelce is questionable, so we will see about that. But
So Taylor Swift is questionable too. Or?
yeah, I guess so. It would appear so. Obviously, I would hope we could beat them, and it would be an absolute thrill to watch them beat them, especially with how bad we are.
You never know.
Absolutely. But if we are gonna lose, I kind of hope we get absolutely destroyed.
You think so?
Because if that's the case, we got 10 days to our next game. We very much could fire Vance Joseph and put in somebody who's going to implement a new system.
But I guess Sean Payton's pretty good friends with Vance Joseph. He's the one that hired him, so then Sean Payton would actually have to admit his mistake.
And coaches don't like to do that, so you make a good point there. He probably will just stick with him the whole rest of the year.
Oh, man.
My problem is I don't want them to... My biggest fear, I guess, is that the defense is going to be so bad and we're going to lose enough games by the time the trade deadline comes that we're going to trade Justin Simmons because he does have value. And, I mean, he is getting up there and as far as he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Still great, and he's been injury prone. It would suck because he's one of my favorite players.
We've traded so many people this last year. It was awful.
Oh, I know.
I don't have much left, to be honest.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so Simmons is about the only one that has trade value. Surtain, that would be stupid if they traded Surtain. He's young. You got to have some talent on the team.
Yeah.
And then I suppose on offense we got like Judy and Sutton that have some value.
We got rid of Randy Gregory. I think it was Randy Gregory.
Yeah. Good riddance.
I guess he wasn't really a good guy, anyways. But
yeah, it was a huge blunder, and I feel like if we continue down this path, George Payton's gonna get fired.
it's pretty sad right now. It's hard for me to get into football this year for sure because of it.
Yeah, I know, and it's like I was so excited,
Yeah.
and even that first game that we lost, it was like okay, it was close. We were in this.
Russell was like third in QB rating for a while. I don't know what he is now.
And
Probably
then
not that, but
did we play Washington the next week? And we were crushing them, and then they came back, and we were up by like 21 points, and they came back and beat us.
Yep.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yep.
So
I don't know. We'll see.
I know. It's pretty. I'll be going down to Denver here soon
Are you?
for a game.
Nice. Which
Yeah.
one?
Vikings.
Cool.
Broncos Vikings. It's on the 19th, I think, of November.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, it seems like a bad investment at this point, but
Nah, it's still fun.
yeah, they're always fun to go to live.
I remember going to one in December, and it was so cold that the kegs were foaming because
Oh,
the kegs were
shit.
too cold. And I got my beer finally after they were just like dumping foam, dude, just like cups of foam until you finally got a full beer. And then I remember going out and
Freezing.
and then there's like ice over my beer, dude. And I'm like,
You're just drinking a slushie.
it was so hard to drink beer when it's that cold.
Oh, man. Well, honestly, the coldest game I've ever been to was last year in Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of all places. I was like, I didn't come to the South. I didn't go on a road game to the South to freeze my ass off. And I've been to Denver probably like this 8 or 9 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been to that stadium quite a few times, and only once it's ever snowed. I think
Really?
maybe twice, but it was just like a light snow, and it was never like freezing. Over there, and it's so humid,
Uh-huh.
so when it's cold, you get that like really really cold.
I want to say the game that I was at that it was that cold was actually Tim Tebow versus the Patriots, and it was when we actually won, and it was like snowing. I don't know if you remember that game. I'm thinking correctly.
Or was it Tebow, or was it when C.J. Anderson ran that overtime touchdown with Brock Osweiler?
Oh, it was Brock Osweiler.
Was it that game?
Mm-hmm.
That was the same year we won the Super Bowl, right?
I don't know. Now I'm confused.
If it was that game, then that's the same year we won the Super Bowl.
It was cool though. It was a cool game.
I mean, it's always fun to beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
It could have been Tebow though, because there was
I think it was Tebow.
okay, because I do remember because that was Josh McDaniels too,
Mm-hmm.
and we beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
That'd been a good game.
Yeah, because it was a long time ago.
Okay. Well, the Super Bowl was a long time ago too.
That's true.
It's former glory at this point.
That's true.
I mean, I'm still so happy that I got to see him win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was alive for the first two, but I wasn't like a
Mhm.
consistent fan.
The first one that we lost to Washington was pretty rough.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, what was that Super Bowl? It was like 2 years before we went back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because remember we went and lost to the Seahawks. We got destroyed.
Oh,
Peyton Manning fumbled it
Yep,
on like
yep.
the first play.
I cried.
Yeah.
I cried after that
Oh, wait,
game.
or was that Cam Newton and
No.
Carolina? No,
That's when we
beat
won.
them.
Yeah.
okay.
No, we got beat by the Seahawks. I cried real tears because I had waited so long to see them even be good. Not even go to a Super Bowl, just be good at that point. And then we got to the Super Bowl. We had the number 1 offense in the league.
Yeah.
Lost to a very talented Seahawks team. And but we redeemed our. Honestly, it was the ultimate redemption because the Seahawks lost the next year.
Yeah, was that the play where Russell threw an interception on the last play? And...
Yep. And then the next year after that, we won.
Yep.
So those were the glory days. Those were the good years.
It was so nice having Peyton Manning. I was like almost stress free during the offensive games. I was like, he's gonna pass it. We're gonna be good.
I know, God, and now every single not only offensively because the last 5 years. Am I still like stressed? And we're not exactly doing great this year offensively. While Russ is doing better than he did last year.
The red zone is still a problem.
It is. And the O-line's still kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Turnovers have been a problem still.
Absolutely.
But the special teams is better than last year, I can say that.
Yeah.
But then the defense, the thing that we've been like able to rely on, and it's fallen apart. So now, no matter what, every play, and then after last week with Mims fumbling those punt returns,
Yeah.
or he did the one, I guess, but
Just the one, but
now every single play has to be a stress play.
yeah.
And even third and 3, and we're just like, come on!
Yeah. Third downs are like kryptonite for Russell Wilson right now. I don't know.
I think we're just cursed. We're the new Browns.
I hope not. I thought Sean Payton was going to be able to make some good decisions, but I'm kind of questioning
Well,
his decision making just because of his cocky attitude.
yeah, that definitely didn't help anything. And that sucked too to watch.
Oh, the Hackett thing last week. I was like,
That sucked.
that's all they were talking about after the game. Like, oh, Coach Hackett beat the Broncos.
I know, and he was really like living it up.
Oh,
And
smiling from ear to ear, dude.
I can't blame him. I guess he got fired from the organization, but I'm just like, and the way Peyton did talk shit.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that. He threw him under the bus pretty hard.
Well, and if you're gonna do that, back it up.
Yeah.
I
mean, the coach has a big part of it, but it's not all on the coach. It's a team effort.
I know, and we, for sure.
We've gone through so many coaches and quarterbacks the past couple of years. I can't even keep up anymore, man.
I've been questioning some of our offensive play calls this year too. Like,
yeah,
we just made some boneheaded decisions the last couple games, and we started off pretty good. Like I thought the offense flowed pretty well, not quite as efficiently as I would hope, but better than what we were expecting last year, where we could barely get a third down. Now we can actually kind of drive the field a little bit. But yeah, then the defense comes out and you're just like, well, fuck.
Yeah. Got to score a lot of points in order to have that bad of a defense.
Right, and that's what I told a buddy too. I was like, you can't score 30 or you can't allow 30 points and expect to win a game.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be the one scoring 30 points.
Yeah.
If your defense is allowing that, you're always playing catch up and it's just it's either a shootout, which you don't want, or you're playing from behind.
Yeah.
And we've lost by at least 30 in 3 of our 4 losses. And then the one that we did win, we had to play comeback against the worst team in the NFL.
And they made a terrible decision.
Oh, to go for it on
at the end of
fourth?
that game, yeah.
Yeah, that was
What a
horrible.
Stupid decision. And I feel like the coach of the Bears was pressured to do that because he had that decision in the beginning of the game and they kicked a field goal. And then at the end of the game, we had that decision again. And what a stupid decision to be on the Bears.
Was much more on the line, too, he had. So
Yeah. We should have lost that game, but we didn't.
yeah, we miraculously came back and beat the Bears, in a comeback victory in the fourth quarter, which was cool. It was fun to watch. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, if we're barely beating the Bears and making Justin Fields look like a all-pro, yeah, defense is not doing well at that point.
It's not.
But, I mean, Sean Payton's not going anywhere.
No.
Everybody's talking like Russell Wilson's on the outs. I don't see that happening just based on contract. I just don't see how we could cut
There's
him.
so much money on
Yeah.
that.
And it's not even the money that we would have to spend because our owners could spend it.
I suppose.
It's not that's the problem. The problem is the amount that it goes against the cap. That that it's a suffering that would make us suffer regardless.
I still don't understand how we signed an extension on his contract before he even played for us.
That was crazy.
That's just wild.
That was really crazy. Yeah, that was not exactly smart. So I think we're stuck with Russ for at least one more year. He has to at least be good enough to trade.
Yeah.
He's 34 years old. Like an aging quarterback isn't really worth a lot in today's market.
Not unless he's going somewhere to be a backup.
Right. And who's going to pay that money?
We'd lose our ass on that one for sure.
I think we're stuck with Russ for a while, and they gave Sean Payton a crazy contract.
Oh, yeah.
So, because he could have waited to go coach in Dallas.
Yeah.
And he chose to come to us because
options.
Oh yeah, he could have coached the Chargers, like that. I know the Chargers and Cowboys were 2 on his list, but he came to us because we showed him those dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think if we let him take the reins, and kind of like, he'll make it happen.
I think he's got the skill set and the attitude to be a good coach for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're heading that way. It's just you can't be good overnight.
Yeah, it takes years of building up a Super Bowl team again.
But I do think I think we're gonna see either Sutton or Judy get traded.
Yeah, I'm hoping, to be honest.
if
Judy
anybody,
was a bust, and Sutton was supposed to step up a long time ago, dude.
I know. I'm definitely a Sutton fan.
Yeah, me too. Where I used to be,
I know.
I thought he was gonna after Emmanuel Sanders retired, and Sutton was kind of like, it's like your time now, Sutton. And then
With-
he got injured, and
With how Mims is playing, I think they know they have him on the horizon.
mm-hmm.
I don't see them trading both Sutton and Judy, so it's going to be one or the other. Sutton makes sense because he's older to trade,
Mm-hmm.
but Judy probably has more value because he's younger.
I think Judy has more catches this year.
I think they're probably going to trade Judy mostly for the fact that he probably won't re-sign with us anyway,
That's true.
and his contract's coming up. Like I think we'd have to exercise our 5th-year option on him this year.
That's what happens too when you're losing, and people on the team that are good don't like losing, so they're looking for other options now.
I know. And then Simmons might get traded too. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But they're going to try and get some more draft capital. And honestly, this is a pretty good QB class coming in this year. If we're this is just my opinion. If we have a top 5 pick, I don't take a quarterback. Unless it's Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams is available, you take Caleb Williams. Other than that, we're so bad at drafting quarterbacks.
I know, that's what I was about to say.
Like, I don't want to risk having a top 5 pick and wasting it on a quarterback that's not going to be good.
It's such a hard thing to pick a quarterback.
I'd rather they draft a quarterback in the 4th round that just ends up being like a Dak Prescott or a Russell Wilson.
Well, look at what round Tom Brady was picked in. He was picked in like the later rounds. And
Look at Brock Purdy.
yeah,
He was the last pick in the draft.
yeah. And then the first couple picks are just really high prospects, and they don't turn out to be what they were in college.
Right.
It's a totally different game when you get into the NFL.
I would rather us take a high-ranking skills position, whether that's cornerback or safety or wide receiver or something like that. Something that's going to help immediately affect us.
Yeah, let's get some linebackers again, man.
Dude,
Defense wins games.
and honestly, our edge rush is not terrible. It's not great, but our middle linebackers have been a problem.
Yeah, I miss Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware and Doomerville.
Elvis
and-
Doomerville,
Man.
Derek Wolf on the line.
Oh, Derek Wolf was a beast.
Dude, okay. Just because I can tell you're a very avid fan and have followed the 2 biggest mistakes the Broncos have made in the last since the Super Bowl. Let's say that.
Okay.
The 2 biggest mistakes were not drafting Josh Allen. That's number 1. We drafted Bradley Chubb over Josh Allen at number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Huge mistake. That's going to live with us for the rest of our lives. And number 2,
Chubb was a letdown, too.
well, and actually these coincide, the 2 that I was thinking. That same year we let go of Shaq Barrett,
Oh, yeah, Shaq Barrett was a beast.
who went on to be the defensive player of the year that year.
Oh, really?
He almost broke the record for most sacks. Well, he led the league in sacks. And we could have just signed Shaq Barrett to go to play opposite of Von Miller, which is what we drafted Bradley Chubb to do. We could have just had those 2 and then had Josh Allen.
Yeah,
And then we would have been set.
yeah. I had high hopes of Bradley Chubb, and he did good for a while.
He had
But he also had Von Miller, and it's like hard to judge a linebacker when Von Miller's on the other side.
he was hurt a lot.
And he got hurt a lot. Yeah.
He only had 1 Pro Bowl season.
That's true.
It's just, yeah.
But you put any 2 linebackers or whatever with Von Miller on the other side, and Von Miller's getting double teamed and just making so much commotion over there that the other linebacker kind of shines a little more too.
I'm kind of glad. I'm glad that Vaughn got to go win another Super Bowl, even though
Me too.
I didn't love that. Like I was rooting for the Bengals in that Super Bowl
Yeah,
because I like Joe Burrow and some of those other guys. But I'm glad he got to win a Super Bowl,
me too.
and I'm glad he's on the Bills now too.
Yeah,
Because I like rooting for the Bills.
he's such an avid Broncos. Just he still loves the Broncos so much.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
which is great.
He still follows and he still comments on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If the I'll say it right here on the podcast right now. You can mark this down. If the Bills go to the Super Bowl, I will buy a Von Miller Bills jersey.
Maybe I will too. Maybe I'll just switch over to the Bills now.
It's nice to have a team to at least
To
root
go
for.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be a Bills fan.
Not what makes when other players get traded to different teams, it kind of makes it fun to watch those other games now because you can relate to those players. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
now you're on this team. I still want to watch you though because I appreciate the fact that you're badass.
Yeah. Well, it's still a guy that will undoubtedly be in our Ring of Fame one day and is like an all-time great Bronco. You know,
When Emmanuel Sanders went to the Saints, I watched Saints games all the time.
Yeah.
I loved Emmanuel Sanders. He's just such a good wide receiver.
Oh,
And
when
he's tiny too, so everyone always thinks he's gonna get fucked with.
And he's not a slot receiver either. He was a wideout.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he would go deep and he'd lay out for all those passes. And
Every time he got hit, people were like, "Oh," because he was so small, he'd just get destroyed.
but he'd get right back up, and
He's tough.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I think we've said it all.
Cool, dude.
I hate to spring this on you because I've done this a few times to guests. I always end my episodes with a positive or motivational message from the guest.
Nice.
I usually like to let you know beforehand so you had a little bit more time to think about it, but
All right.
unfortunately,
That's okay. Put me on the spot.
put you on the spot, yeah.
So it's a motivational,
Positive
message?
or motivational message that maybe something that you've taken in your life or that you've used throughout your life. Just something that you like maybe live your life by or
Protect your heart. Be careful who you trust. But above all, don't wait to do something until it's too late. Do it right now. Because life is way too short.
absolutely.
So get out there and get it done.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's perfect. That kind of encompasses the whole everything we've talked about today, you know.
It took me like 15 seconds to think that.
Hey, it worked pretty good, man. It works out perfectly. Perfect. Well, hey,
Cool.
Iconoclast Studios. Check it out if you're an artist that's looking to record. I'll leave a link in the description.
Sweet. Thank
So
you.
we'll have an easy access to that. Show on
28th, Saturday, Craft Local.
Perfect. Go check that out. And anything else you want to plug?
No, just thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Cheers again.
Hey, cheers, brother. It was a blast. And for everybody out there, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta